You get what you vote for.
Fox 17's Lauren Coomer took a closer look at some of these changes. She joins us live in Kalamazoo after speaking with the city commissioner. Lauren?
Yeah, things like public urination, defecation, and littering now decriminalized, going from a misdemeanor to a civil infraction.
Yeah, guys, you heard that correctly. The city of Kalamazoo, Michigan, is going to be allowing people to urinate and defecate on the streets with basically pretty much almost no penalty at all. What's up, guys? John Claymore here. Now, guys, I got wind of this on Saturday from, actually, it was Fox News who actually reported that. Don't worry, we'll get to the other half of the story here in a second. But does it sound to me like maybe, you know, the only people who actually are willing to do this crap are people who have absolutely no self-accountability or actually have any, let's just say, any civic responsibility, because, quite frankly, they don't care about civic responsibility. I've talked this on a few occasions, that if you have actual love for your community and a little bit of patriotism, you more than likely would not do that. So, guys, we got to ask ourselves a question: why is this occurring? Why are certain cities, and by the way, we thought it was mostly just the state of California and the cities of San Francisco and LA that were allowing this, but obviously this issue right here is coming a little bit closer to home in the middle of Michigan. Now, guys, before we start this video, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button, especially if you guys like the content. Also, turn on your notifications so that way you guys are notified when the videos come out. And please, guys, leave a comment in the comment section. Now, guys, we will get to the rest of this video here, but I have to mention this, and I'm probably going to mention it more and more often here in the future. A lack of actual civic responsibility and love for your own state, community, and country is kind of sort of what this right here leads to. Now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll the remaining portion of the actual local news report. We'll talk about it. Then we're going to come back and talk about the one that made it to national news. Let's go ahead and roll this.
Fox 17's Lauren Coomer took a closer look at some of these changes. She joins us live in Kalamazoo after speaking with the city commissioner. Lauren?
Yeah, things like public urination, defecation, and littering now decriminalized, going from a misdemeanor to a civil infraction.
That's not right, and that's not good. So I'm very concerned, I'm very disappointed, and I feel like the support for the businesses and the business owners is lacking.
Lana Hoffman, the owner of Lana's Boutique in downtown Kalamazoo, is frustrated after the Kalamazoo City Commission made changes to its code of ordinances on Monday.
The most concerning thing is some of the ordinances that were changed involve safety. Safety of customers, safety of employees, safety of just anyone coming downtown.
Here's what we know. These changes go from misdemeanor crimes to civil infractions, including public urination, defecation, and littering.
I'm incredibly disappointed. I feel like a lot of these things were passed that weren't even mentioned in the meeting, and they're major concerns for not just downtown, but for the city in general.
We're not rolling out the welcome mat for crime in the city of Kalamazoo. We're not rolling out a lot of those people are small mom and pop shops where that's their life income. And I definitely want to be respectful of that, know that we hear them and we're listening to them and we care a lot, but we care about everybody in the community.
Other changes were made to Kalamazoo's code as well. Some sections were removed entirely, the city says, because they were no longer needed or unconstitutional or enforced. And another update with that, and something important to note, is some of the sections removed can still be prosecuted by state law. Reporting live in Kalamazoo, Lauren Coomer, Fox 17.
Small town cops are obviously betas and they don't need to be on the streets. I really feel for the people. I really feel for the people who've got to deal with this. I mean, can you guys imagine owning a restaurant, owning a bar, and of course somebody comes out there and just lays a great big old giant meaty chud right there at the front door? I mean, you're going to lose business as a result of this. So basically, homeless people, maybe people who are college kids, leftists, those type of people. This is the only type of people who are going to be crapping on the streets and pissing behind businesses. There were these two ladies who had a very, very interesting story that we'll get to here in a second that made national news. But guys, let's talk about this just for a very, very quick second. So like I said, who is more than likely going to do this? And by the way, that cop, that police officer, the police commissioner at the very, very end, he should not have his badge. Seriously. I mean, dude, look. I get it. Look, you step outside of a bar, you've been drinking the entire night, you got to let it out. I understand, of course, not crapping, but of course, it's the little things that there happen. However, in those cases right there, it's very, very minimal, and people do that every now and again. You may get away with that, or you may pay a fine. This right here is basically giving people a free pass to just, quite frankly, take a shit on your business. This right here is actually what they're doing, and we'll get to the other story here in a second. But this right here is what happens when you keep putting freaking leftists in office. By the way, that's, of course, who the hell is running Kalamazoo, Michigan. Most of the bigger cities in the country are ran by actual leftists, libs, hippie types. Of course, the hippie types and the authoritarian types are a little bit different. We may do a video on that right there. Probably part 2 of the Liberalism is a Mental Disorder series, which, by the way, I'll be working on at least 1 video per week. I didn't get to it last week. But let's go ahead and watch the national news section of this actual ordeal.
Public urination, defecation, and littering. This is real. Co-owner of Pop City Popcorn, Becky Bill, and owner of Sherry's Chuckle Art, Sherry Emery, join me now. I still can't wrap my head around this, Becky. How bad has it gotten outside your shop?
I don't have a horrible time outside of my shop particularly. I'm kind of a little ways from the main part of the mall, but my neighbor has had human feces outside of his door. And just litter everywhere. We do have ambassadors that do come through and pick it up, but it's still, out there and just crazy some days.
To remind the audience, we're talking about the United States of America. I mean, think about the answer that you just gave. It is mind-blowing. Sherry, what are some of the worst things that you've seen, heard?
Oh, well, one day we kept smelling something in the back of the store, and I opened up the door, and that was human feces. And of course, I called my landlord, and nobody would do anything about it. This is before we had ambassadors. That was a few years ago. But that was probably the worst thing. I had to clean it up, and it's not a fun thing to do.
No longer a crime in your great city, the city where Derek Jeter was born, I should add, accosting, molesting, or wrongfully touching any other person, selling obscene pictures or books to minors, being under the influence of controlled substances or drugs in public, and engaging in fraudulent schemes to obtain money. They're literally changing years and years of what has become accepted law. What good, Sherry, could possibly come out of those changes as well?
Yeah, there were so many different changes that we didn't even realize were involved in the voting the other night. And that's really, we have a lot of compassion, believe me. In my coffee shop, in my chocolate shop, we give people free coffee when we know it's cold out there, and anybody can come in and get a cup of free coffee. Sometimes we... I bought shoes for people that are homeless, that are walking with no shoes because...
Selling obscene photos. You guys saw that right there. Not allowed to actually touch anyone who may be trying to rob you, maybe trying to steal from you. I mean, what do you think is going to happen after a while when criminals begin to absolutely run wild? You see, I would like to tell you exactly what would happen, but the problem is if I actually say it here on YouTube, of course I had to type it in. Yeah, these are probably the type of responses that you're going to get after a while if you continue to allow rampant lawlessness. As I said earlier in the video, I feel for these people. I really and truly do. Unless, of course, they voted this crap in. Now, guys, if it were me, I'd be raising 15 counts of hell, okay, this entire issue. I mean, go back to what I said before. You own a gym. You own a bar. You own a grill. You own a boutique, especially if you're a woman, of course, and you own something that's more feminine related, like a woman's clothing store. Let's say a place like where I live at, we get this place called My Sister's Attic, shop to end domestic violence, things of that nature there. And of course, you need business. You need that money for a cause, good causes. And of course, the city allows people to basically walk in front of your door and lay a great big old mud monkey right there at the front door so that way customers can actually see it. Or what if you have a restaurant or a bar, like I mentioned earlier, and somebody goes out there and pisses and whatnot. By the way, not everybody can detect urine right away. It normally takes a day or two before people actually do it. And the more and more urine there is, the worse and worse it gets. I mean, God forbid, the actual fecal matter that is actually dropped on the ground. I mean, you're costing people business. You're costing people money. So yes, once again, progressives and liberals are being allowed to basically do whatever the hell they want. And of course, it's going to lead to people losing business. It's going to lead to a lot of, this where it could actually lead to a lot of chaos. Why can't progressives and liberals realize that their decisions are ruining other people's lives? By the way, some of these people probably voted for this crap, not realizing that they would be backstabbed and done over without the actual KY. And they didn't even realize this was going to happen. They kind of feel betrayed here, okay? You're actually screwing with people's lives and livelihoods. And worst of all, the city council, the police department is actually condoning it. They're allowing it. And they're not even really and truly going to be cracking down. You guys saw that little penalty at the very, very end. That's not much of a penalty. Seriously. Guys, John Claymore here. If you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. We'll get you guys' thoughts. And I'll see you guys later.
Guten Tag, Herr Jones. Mein Herr. Weg. Tickets, please. Was?
No ticket.